Okay, I think I'm back. I'm recording again. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I want to just give you some background information. And I may be telling this backwards, but um, instead of from the beginning, I'm just going back to the date of November 28th, 1 o'clock court hearing that was scheduled for a conciliation conference at the Monroe County Courthouse. And the purpose of this conference was to see if I'm facing foreclosure on my home. I've lived in this home for 16 years, come January 22nd. I have three children. Well, I have five children, three still at home. Um, each one of these children have never lived anyplace other than here. Um, the youngest was born here. They know no other home than this. They've been to no other school district than the one that they're in. But that's neither here nor there, although that is very important to know. Okay, we go to court, my father and I. My father is very nervous about this. My father's name is on the mortgage. Okay, he's the mortgage holder. Some time ago, 2004, I believe it was, he had done a quick claim deed and left the property, or he deeded the property to myself and four of my five children. And the only reason that the fifth child wasn't included in there was because he had some problems going on at the time, and we feared that those problems could potentially lead or had the potential to possibly it would be a liability, in other words, to have him on there at that point. So for no other reason than that, his name was not included on there. At the time, it was done to ensure, whether we did it right or wrong or whatever the case may be, it was done to ensure that, God forbid, if anything happened to my father, that there would be no doubt from anybody in the family, legally, or anybody else, that the property was intended for myself and my children. Um, at the time, there was also a significant other that I had that was going through some intense adversity and was, in my opinion, hanging and associating with some uh, unsavory folks. Okay, um, and I had worked very hard with my father to maintain this property up to this point, and had invested a lot in it, and had every intention on maintaining this home for my family. So the thought also behind putting the property into my name and my children's names was so that if, in fact, my children's father's addictions and behaviors escalated to a point that led him to try to do something while trying to satisfy his own needs and without having a clear mental focus, we wanted to eliminate the possibility that he could cause us to lose this house. So, or that somebody could convince him to take it from us in order to meet his needs at that time. Um, don't know if he would do it again. Precautionary measures was just being taken because we wanted to ensure that that we had a home. We like it here. I had raised five children here, and I've worked very hard um, here for this home. All right, so now you have some background information. So now the mortgage payment responsibility is legally my father's. The deed is in my name and four of my children's names. the taxes, mortgage, and everything else basically since 1997 have been paid by me with the help of my father. My father lives here part time, so in terms of the owner occupied bit, he does have another residence in New York, and initially he was here a lot more, but as time progressed, he was here less. Nonetheless, this is still his home. Okay, so I'm at the like 5 minute mark, and again, I don't know how this works, so I'm gonna try to catch up to speed. And forgive me if I speak really, really fast. All right, we go to court. We're sitting in court. We really don't know what to expect. I have a neighbor who has or is going through the midst of the same thing. I've spoken to other people that I know personally who either work as conciliators or things like that, just to get an idea of what to expect. This is a very, serious thing and a very scary thing, as I'm sure you would imagine. And at this point being December 3rd, 2012, many hundreds of millions of people have experienced this, and their families have experienced this as well. All right, so now, by the time I get to court, I'm kind of at ease. I know for sure everybody's guaranteed me that, listen, when you get there, you're not going to get there and they're going to say, okay, you have to move out in 30 days. All right, so now I'm a little bit more at ease. I can at least sleep at night without having these major anxiety and panic attacks. Sorry. And what I will do is lower this so that hopefully that doesn't happen again. Okay. I've also spoken to a neighbor who told me that she's been working with them, and she informs me that the arbitrators are there to work on our behalf, ours being homeowners, to try to come to some kind of a resolution or help the bank and the homeowner, come to a point, mediator, come to a point where they can agree on something so that the bank ultimately gets their money, the homeowner gets to keep their home, get back on track, and go forth. I was relieved with that. There had been many hardships that had just plagued our family during the course of the past 2 years that contributed to us being where we are today. Keep in mind, I said we didn't buy this house 5 years ago, and now we're in problem, or 6 years ago, or 8 years ago. A month from now, a month and a couple of weeks makes 16 years. That's more than half of the length of a mortgage, 30 years. Okay, all right, fine. We're sitting in the courtroom. We're sitting in the lobby. There are tons of people in the lobby, which that becomes kind of distressing, and also at the same time, it kind of makes you feel like, wow, it's not only me. I'm not the only one going through this. Okay, as we're sitting in the courtroom, in the lobby area, for quite some time, because it took over an hour for them to call us. I actually had asked the person, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the same Gina person who was there. Were all of us scheduled for 1 o'clock? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. I said, there's meters outside. I really can't afford to catch a ticket while I'm sitting in here trying to prevent my mortgage, my house from being foreclosed on. Obviously, it would need, everything, every dime that I have. And the meter was only like for 2 hours outside. We had only put 2 hours in there. So I asked her how many conciliators are there. And she said, well, we have 3. We had a really hectic morning. It's really crazy. It was really crazy this morning's sessions. Hopefully this afternoon will go faster, but I can't really tell you how long it's going to be. Okay, fine. That's fine. I mean, expected court. Now, there's a gentleman sitting next to me who is obviously an attorney. And I'm so damn nosy. I can't help myself, but I don't want to say nosy, but just trying to be in tune with everything that's going on, because this is the first time experience. And my goal when I say nosy was trying to figure out, okay, which attorney or, who's here representing the bank against us. So there's this attorney sitting there next to me talking to somebody else, and they asked him a question, and I hear him say, no, I'm actually from Allentown. So I, turn to my dad and I kind of whisper like, oh, that's not the lawyer. All right, fine. We wait. Eventually, I have to make a decision. Do I go to the bathroom or do I go to run and do the meter? And I called Gina again. I was like, Gina, is there any way, who I believe is Gina? I think it's Gina. It may not have been, sound like the same person's voice, personality, nice lady, whatever. Seemed like, anyway. I said, listen, is there any way to find out where we are on this list? And she looks and she goes, well, I had to change some things around. Some people didn't show. It's really hard to tell. Actually, there is, I think she said there's somebody who went in and one other person in front of you. So I said, and I can't really tell how long it's going to be, when people go in. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 20 minutes. It depends on their situation. Totally get it, understood, but still leaves me in a position where I have to decide, do I run out and go, and then they call us, and I'm like, move to the ends of the list now, or what? So I said, you know what, Gina? I'm going to risk the ticket, but I'm going to run to the bathroom. And she laughed, and my father laughed, and so on and so forth. I run to the bathroom. Of course, as luck would have it, when I'm coming out of the bathroom, my father's standing in the hallway waving like, come on. I'm like, they called us. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. All right. We walk into the room. The gentleman who had been sitting next to me, who was allegedly, I'm not even going to say gentleman, because as it turned out, he was not a gentleman. He was a creep. And that's the nicest word that I can think of to describe him at this particular point in time, and you'll understand why. Again, you'll see me looking up and looking around and stuff like that because I'm trying to keep track of this time thing, and I know I have a tendency to talk, but I'm sorry, that's just who I am. Okay, so that attorney who had been sitting next to me, who referenced to somebody else that he was from Allentown, is sitting in the room. My father in the room with the conciliator. My father had not gone into the room until I met up with him coming out of the bathroom. He waited for me, so he had not gone in there. Geez, we're at like the 12-minute mark again, so I'm going to stop it and start again. And guys, I'm so sorry, but I really think that it's important for anybody who might be facing this type of situation to know what can happen. All right, hold on, and I'll be right back.